What is going on, everybody? This is your boy Bill Mehari here for another edition of MehariNation Sports / Radio. I apologize to all my subscribers here. Had a little bit of audio problems with my microphone on my headset, but now that's all taken care of. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to the entire Lions Den basketball community, man. You know what? I was trying to get my thoughts on Michigan State versus Duke yesterday, but I was a little tired. And then obviously the unexpected death of Nippy Hussle really, pushed things back. But before I begin my analysis, though, I just want to once again my condolences to his family, though, man. He was a great rapper, man, and had his life taken away too early. He's also Eritrean too, which is the deep sword that is as well, man. And all we can hope for is that this violence and this BS, man, needs to stop. But with that out the way, now the Final Four is set, man. We are set for the Final Four today. You know what I'm saying? We got great matchups on the horizons, though, man. We got Auburn versus Michigan State. Then we got Texas Tech versus Virginia. Now, let's be all honest here. Did many of y'all had it in the brackets? I sure as heck didn't. You know what I mean? I had Duke, I had Michigan, I had Houston, and then I had Tennessee. But, all those things got eliminated. So it is what it is. This is why we love March Madness, man. The theater of the unexpected. And certainly it was the theater of the anticipation and the unexpected yesterday between Michigan State and Duke. Boy, what a game that was, though, man. It was a fantastic game from start to finish, though, man. You know what I'm saying? Duke fell asleep in the first half, man. They fell asleep in the first half. They were not playing their normal game, and Zion Williamson wasn't getting touches, though. I knew at some point in time their lack of perimeter shooting and RJ Barrett's recklessness was going to come back to haunt them. And unfortunately, it did. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate that it had to end that way. But you know what? That's March Madness. That's what it is. You know what I mean? Cassius Winston outplayed Trey Jones to a T, man. He destroyed Trey Jones the whole night. You know what's so interesting about Cassius Winston is that he's excellent at stopping on a dime, getting to a spot, and scoring. He knows how to control the team, and he knows how to set his teammates up. That's the kind of point guard you want to have on your team. But credit to Michigan State. They did a great job of, containing Zion Williamson, even though he had 22 points and 10 rebounds in that game. They didn't allow him to get to the middle down the stretch. They built a wall around him, and they did not let him get to the paint. And RJ Barrett missed critical free throws, man. And that's what's the difference of the game. You know what I mean? That's how it is. One free throw changes everything. If he would have made both free throws, we would have had a totally different discussion. Maybe Duke may have pulled it out. You never know. But at the end of the day, though, man, too many close games came back to bite them. They held for dear life against UCF. They held and the same thing for Virginia Tech. And eventually it came back, and Michigan State was an experienced team, and they came back and showed how you get it done in March Madness. And now Michigan State's in the Final Four. It's going to be an interesting Final Four, to say the least. Not too many big-time stars in that Final Four, but still 4 teams that are deserving to be in that big spot in Minneapolis. I got my tickets all ready to go, man. I'm got my tickets. Gonna be watching the Final Four live in the U.S. Bank Stadium, man. It's gonna be an exciting time when we watch all those great teams go at it for 40 minutes to get to Monday night's national championship game. Now, I want to talk about the whole issue of the one and done deal. I think in a couple of years, you're gonna see a lot of teams. You're gonna see the one and done situation dissipate. With the advancement of different leagues that allow high school players to play probably 1 year, where you can skip 1 year of college ball and still get paid, and you ultimately can go through the draft. Eventually, sooner or later, the one and dones are going to come to an end. You know, you're not gonna see many of those one and dones down the line. And it goes to show you that experience and veteran play in tournament time beats out young and inexperienced talent. And that's what I saw last night. I mean, yesterday, an experienced Michigan State team beat out one of the most talented teams in the country. Guys, two players who are going to be top five draft picks. And then Zion Williamson, the most freakish athlete in all of basketball, going to be a top pick in the draft. RJ Barrett's probably going to be a top 5 pick. And Duke's lack of experience of handling pressure really came back to bite them in the worst way. They got lucky in those 2 games, but that makes it 3 different one and done teams that lost in the tournament. Considering counting when Wisconsin beat the previous undefeated Kentucky Wildcats in Indianapolis. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm telling you, the one and done situation, sooner or later, it's going to start to dissipate, man. You're not going to see many of those one and done players. I think at some point in time, the NBA is just going to have to change the age requirement and give the players the choice. They want to come out of high school and play basketball. You know what? That might be the case. And there's gonna be backlash when there's gonna people that'll say, why should we allow these kids to go out and race their rights on free education and stuff like that? Well, here's the thing. It's this kid's choice. If the kid believes in his heart of hearts that he's superiorly talented and can make a lot of money and be dominant in the pro game, it's his choice. And if he doesn't succeed, well, he has to live with that decision. That's what I firmly believe. I truly believe that these one and dones are gonna end, man. I'm telling you, there's no way that these one and dones are gonna stick around for too long in basketball. Are you kidding? There's no way that these one and dones are gonna stick around in basketball for far too long. No way. I just don't see it. And I think in the next decade, in my opinion, I think the NCAA is gonna reform itself, pay the athletes, and more importantly, put more age regulations in the NBA to try to make sure these one and done stop and just stop. I mean, there's no reason for Zion Williamson to even play college basketball. He should have been pro, honestly. But yeah, on my reflection on the game, Michigan State, did a very good job defensively, taking away Zion Williamson's drives at times. Now, he was still able to score. Now, you can't shut down a great offensive player, but you can limit his effectiveness and limit his ability to get his easy scoring opportunities. Yes, he blew by guys. Yes, he was able to reach out and get rebounds at a monster rate. The dude's got unbelievable reach and unbelievable height, and also vertical. He can jump out of the sky. Nitty G, salute. Thank you for coming. Yeah, that's just how it is, though, man. Zion Williamson is the most freakish athlete I've ever seen, bar none. I mean, his ability to jump in the air to get those rebounds. I mean, I'll tell you this. Here's a funny thing. The big guy, Nick Ward of Michigan State, was going to grab the rebound. He was close to getting that rebound, and then out of the air, Zion Williamson literally jumps all the way towards the top of the backboard to snatch that rebound. I mean, that is just freakish athleticism, and he has excellent skill too, which makes him much more of a complete package as a basketball player. But still, unbelievable, man. But yeah, Michigan State, they just Cassius Winston was able to do whatever he wanted on the offensive end. There was no one at Duke that was able to contain this guy. And I've seen a lot of Cassius Winston's games, because obviously I'm a Gopher alumni, and I see some Gopher games during the regular season. I mean, this guy, he's a Big Ten Player of the Year for a reason. He has the ability to drive, kick, finish at the rim, and shoot the ball and lead his team back. I mean, he's a very good player. Now, He's not as athletically gifted, but he has excellent basketball smarts, and he knows how to control the game. So I would put Robert. So to me, he'd be a top 20, maybe a late first rounder or something like that. Can he shoot well enough to try to sustain a longevity career in the NBA? That's going to be the ultimate question. I think he could, but we'll see. Michigan State did a great job playing physical with the young, inexperienced Duke team. You know what I'm saying? They did a great job of defensive rotations. What they did was that they made sure they put a body on the guys and not let them breathe all game long. Yes, they were still able to get their points, but it took a lot out of them. And then Duke was able to make their runs, but you could tell that the physicality-ness of the game was taking its toll. And Michigan State was able to continue to grind it out until the final seconds. And then ultimately, that's what did it to them, man. That's what did it to them. And I feel bad, and I hate to say, I feel bad for RJ Barrett, for missing that free throw. You know what I mean? But he'll get over it. He'll be all right. He'll be able to get over it. I still feel bad for Ryan Klein of Purdue. He's not going to get another chance to play basketball, in college anymore. Missing that big free throw and that could have put him up by 4 points. By 3 points, and then Virginia comes back, ties the game, and then they win it in overtime. This is why we love March Madness, and this is why a lot of players hate March Madness because a lot of mistakes, a lot of huge misses, they are gratifying. I mean, it's just like that's just why we love March Madness. That's why. So now we got very interesting matchups there. So we got Virginia versus Auburn. These two teams, size-wise, they match up very well. Virginia is a better defensive team there too, especially with their packed-in zone that Tony Bennett likes to enlist there too. But Auburn shoots very well from beyond the arc. But they are going to be challenged because remember, Aoki had knee surgery. He's going to have knee surgery, I think, either tomorrow. So he's not going to be able to. They're going to really lose his presence, his ability to, grab rebounds, and that versatility on the court. That's going to be very critical that you're going to need, especially in the Final Four. So it's going to be a close game, but I think I'll have Virginia winning it maybe on a 3-point margin, something like that. That's just to me. And then we got Michigan State versus Texas Tech. That's actually a really good matchup. Those two teams are very sound defensively, and both teams shoot well from the outside as well. We're going to go now to the guard play, especially with Texas Tech and their ability to drive and kick and find open shooters, and they do a great job with their defensive rotations as well. But Cassius Winston can get his shot off anytime he wants. At any time, he can stop on a dime, he can drive and penetrate, and he knows how to set up his teammates. And he has very good self-awareness. But it's going to be tough because, Texas Tech, they do a great job of the defensive rotations, and all of that sorts. So, the thing is, though, man, there may not be a lot of players out there, a lot of high value players, you know what I mean? But still a lot of talented players in that Final Four too, Just like let me make sure to check out my research correctly. Myself real quick. Okay. Let's check it out real quick. So here's how Auburn tries to set you up. They like to run because Pearl, the coach Bruce Pearl, he belongs to. He's one of those coaches that likes to control the tempo of the game, particularly with Jared Harper, who averages 15 points a game. So Harper's diminutive signs on the wells, but he has absolutely no heels, and he knows how to get down the floor, and finish layups. Now, he has great speed and knows how to open up the court. And he was able to help out with huge threes against Kentucky. And in terms of their offensive efficiency, Auburn ranks 6th in the country. You know what I mean? Without their versatile player there too, they're able to match up very well against Kentucky's athletic line. But the big improvement that what I saw from Auburn was their defense. Since the SEC tournament, to hold Kentucky to 71 points in overtime and hold them to their worst three-point shooting percentage of 24%, along with the same number of turnovers and assists, that differential, and then they did a great job of help the defense. I'm telling you, they're a very difficult team to solve. But here's how you try to beat Auburn. You have to limit Auburn's possessions because its offense helps predict the tone of the game. Because what Bruce Pearl likes to do is control the tempo of the game and tries to manipulate the pace. The reason why Auburn was able to get back into the ball game was because of their defense. It wasn't until their huge barrage of 3 points and quality half-court offense that eventually led them to their comeback. When the Tigers get into a half-court game, what the big key that you're gonna have to watch in this game is getting the ball out of Harper's hand. And the reason is his creativity in pick and rolls bails out a lack of the offensive weapons and also creates clean looks for Brown too, who shoots 40% from three-point range and scores about 15.5 points per game. So realistically, you just got to be able to constrain their pick and roll play and also control the pace. If Auburn gets into a run and gun game with Virginia, they may have a chance. Now we're gonna look at their opponent, Virginia. So when you look at Virginia, Tony Bennett's style is to try to take their opponent out of its rhythm, to try to grind it out in a half-court style. So the Virginia Cavaliers plays to probably the most slowest tempo game you've ever seen in college basketball. Mike James Boxing, thank you for coming, man. Salute. Salute, salute. So back to what I was saying. The Virginia's huge calling card is their defense. When you look at their BPI, they're second in the nation in their defense, and they're second ranked in their and also in terms of offensive efficiency. So what they try to do is they try to beat you with a slow, grinding out pace, and also try to shoot some threes. But they also do a great job of packing into the paint. If you notice that they're packed in zone, what they do is they communicate and pack in all the lanes to the basket, and they try to force opponents to take tough contested threes. But the difference in their team this year is that now they can score. Last year, it was not the case. That's why they lost in the first round, because they couldn't get any shots up. They just could not find any offensive efficiency. That's how they lost in the first round a year ago. So, but the key player for them is DeAndre Hunter. I've seen some of his games. He does show potential of a future top 10 pick who brings a very different dimension to the offensive end, something that Virginia hasn't had very often of them. They try to wear teams down with their style, and they also do a great job at taking care of the basketball. They don't turn the ball over. They make shots, and they force teams to take contested jump shots. So the way you try to beat them is this. You look back in their game against Purdue, despite that Carson Edwards having a great start there, Purdue, despite the Superman Edwards, doesn't make them look good at all. The thing is, without Carson Edwards, I think Virginia would have had a very, very easy time with them. The big thing what you try to do is that they still struggle. The guards are not good at creating their own shots, and they sometimes don't hit the high percentage at times, because through their whole stretch of February and March, they shot 40% or better in 5 of those games, and the Cavaliers have shot 33% or worse in each of their past 5 games. You know what I mean? And so, with DeAndre Hunter's presence there, he has been hugely significant, especially in their overtime victory. So what do you try to do against Virginia? The easiest answer is simple. You got to make threes. So Purdue, they made 14 threes in their regional final game against Virginia. Duke buried 13 threes in a win earlier in the year. So it's not all. So it's not always the best idea, but you got to be able to find ways to drive and kick and look to hit your 3-point shots. Now, if you get a shot inside, you got to take it. But the packed-in defense is very difficult. So the key thing for what I'm going to see from Auburn is, can they force the pace to be faster, and can they hit open shots, and can they take care of can they take care of the basketball? For Virginia, control the pace, slow it down, using your packed-in defense and contest their 3-point shooting and control the pick and roll. Those are the things you got to look for in this contest between the two teams. Now, to the second game between Michigan State versus Texas Tech. Now, credit to Tom Izzo for doing what he does. You know, Tom Izzo doesn't get enough credit for being one of the best college coaches in the nation. You know what I mean? Despite the fact that they lost in the second round 2 straight years, he finds his way. He finds a way. So, how they beat them? How do they beat you? It's simple. Cassius Winston and their interior defense. They have 2 excellent forces of nature inside there. You know, Winston is a great master with the ball in the center. He can score on either side of the arc. He's great at drawing fouls, but he's also excellent at pinpoint passing. He knows how to set teammates up, you know, and try to, you know, get easy baskets for them. You know, he has no preferred speed. I don't think he's really that fast, to be honest with you, but he tries to lull you around. He tries to, you know, get you to some sort of sense of comfort there and then just blow by you. You know what I mean? The one thing that is also important, though, is that also the development of Xavier Tillman there, too. You know what I mean? Because, you know, he really stepped up in the second half of the season. You know what I mean? And what else I also was going to say? Oh, yes. The other thing, too, is this, though. You know, on the other end of the floor there as well. So, you know, they can throw Nick Ward, they can throw in Goins and Tillman there. So you got a huge front line that they can throw at you. So what you're going to try to do against Michigan State is very important. Attack the offensive glass. And the reason is that the name of Tom Izzo's game is rebounding. You know, for whatever, but for the strangest reason, and I've seen this in some of the Gopher games too, that this particular group of Tillman, Goins, and Ward, they don't do very well on the defensive boards. And the reason is that sometimes they're because of the fact that they're a very good offensive team, because sometimes against the best offenses against Michigan State is a missed shot. You know what I mean? Because they do a great job of motioning you to take tough shots, but they don't do a great job of, you know, finishing the defense with rebounding. You know what I mean? So the big thing is this: you have to invest very early of denying Cassius Winston the basketball. You cannot let the Spartans devote the first 10 seconds of the shot clock to Winston trying to probe around the court, trying to get the basketball. Because if you allow Winston to lull you to sleep, he'll burn you. You know what I mean? And also, Aaron Henry is not really a good free throw shooter too. You know what I mean? So you can't be afraid of putting him to the foul line. And also, you know, Xavier Tillman is not a good 3-point shooter too. So the big thing you have to look for is, can Texas Tech control their own defensive backboards, and also can they control Winston and make the other guys beat them? That's what I'm anxious to see, because Texas Tech is the best defensive team in the nation. You know what I mean? Because their coach Chris Bird is excellent in terms of defense. That's how they were able to get to their first ever Final Four. You know, they could throw at you. Guys like Tariq Owens, who's 6'10", Matt Mooney, 6'3", you know, Culver, who's 6'6", Moretti, 6'2", and Norris Odoze, who's 6'8". And then you got guys off the bench like Brandon Francis at 6'5" and Kyle Edwards at 6'3". The Chris Bird, their coach, he can throw size and athleticism there too. And also, they don't get into a lot of defensive mismatches because they support one another when they get beat off the dribble. They do a great job of defensive rotations and switching there too. It's very difficult to drive against this Red Raider team. When they get involved in their offensive there too, they do a great job of driving and kicking and looking to shoot open threes. Sorry about that. My throat's getting a little dry at the moment there. So when they go on offense, they look to try to go ISO and try to look for a mismatch. In the game against Gonzaga, Mooney, their guard, knew he could post up against Josh Perkins, and he was able to take advantage of that. Because Culver finished 5 and 9. Because again, he made big shots there and knew how to post up against them. So everything starts with Culver. And their losses, he had a hard time fighting against open looks against Archie Moore, and then with other guys who were 6'9" or larger to guard him. And Culver commits also huge turnovers. He commits 30 turnovers in Texas Tech's 6 losses. When Culver struggles, Texas Tech, they don't make many of their shots inside the arc, inside in the paint there. They're not a good post, not a good paint team too. You know what I mean? So it's very important for them to have good point guard play who can facilitate their offense and also get defensive shots. You know what I mean? The teams that they defeated had a list of point guard, with Trey Jones, Nick Wiltabab, Devon Dotson, Jordan McKebe, Kamu Stokes, and Makai Mason. They have to take advantage. The opponents also have to take advantage of their perimeter looks and finish on second chance opportunities, because as good as a defensive team they are, they're not very good at crashing the boards. So Michigan State, they're good offensive rebounding team, but they're not good defensively on the boards. But they got to look for second chance opportunities if they're going to have a chance to beat them. You know what I mean? And also, the other one thing that also I'm going to mention too before I end my predictions too. Anything a team can do to get Owens is most important there, because he's very good. He's rangy and he can block shots. He averages about, let's see, check my stats here real quick. This is the pad stop playing games on me. 1 second, everybody. 1 second. Yep, he's 6'10", so he averages about 2.4 blocks a game. But he does get into foul trouble because he's fouled out 4 times this year. So you cannot be inconsistent with your offensive efficiency and your defensive attack against Jared Culver. It's easier said than done with this particular group, but they are beatable. And that's the look of Texas Tech there. So my prediction is this. I have Virginia beating Auburn because I just think Virginia is going to force, Auburn to play a slow, methodical game, which is going to be very difficult for them to score any points there unless they control their guards and shoot well from beyond the arc. That's not going to be easy. And then for the second game, I think I'm going to go with Michigan State over Texas Tech, because I think that, they're going to have a hard time containing Cassius Winston and his ability, to drive the ball, attack, and just control the pace. I think that Texas Tech is going to have a hard time adjusting to that, but they are good at defensive switches and they're very good at the defensive discipline. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they'll adjust to it. But I think I'll have Michigan State beating them, and my championship game will be Michigan State versus Virginia, and I think I'll have Michigan State winning that game in the championship game and become national champions. So there you go. I hear it here first. I had Michigan State winning the national championship on Final Four weekend. So with that being said, I can't wait for the Final Four. This is actually going to be my very first Final Four that I'll be able to attend. You know what I'm saying? I've always wanted to see what the camaraderie of the Final Four looks like. It's going to be a very interesting weekend. So I'm going to try to make sure that all my subscribers get to see all the footages, all the interview, all the other sights and sounds of March Madness in the Twin Cities, though, bro. Minneapolis, one thing I can tell you is Minneapolis knows how to present themselves very, very well during March Madness. You know what I mean? They know how to present themselves very, very well. So at the end of the day, though, man, enjoy the final week of college basketball, man. And then in 2 weeks, we got the NBA playoffs. And I'll tell you what, though, man, you cannot wait. You cannot wait for my predictions, though, man. You cannot. I promise you, you're gonna be surprised at some of the things that I'm thinking of, especially during playoff time, because the NBA playoffs is a different animal. It's not a one and done type thing. It's a 7-game series, and typically the best team usually wins, but it's not always the case. So in the next week after March Madness, I'll give you my predictions for the playoffs, and then we'll see who will become champion. I can tell you this, though. The Golden State Warriors are the team to beat, but they are beatable. And I'm going to explain to you why next week. So that'll do it for now. I'm actually going to go ahead and call this a day, but I'll be sure to come back this Saturday with another live stream, man. And I'll try to bring a panel together to discuss any of the stuff that's going on in boxing. Actually, never mind. I'm sorry. My bad. Probably will do it early Saturday morning. Try to get a live in or something like that, because I know I'm going to be attending the Final Four there too. So probably get one live in on Saturday morning, but then I'll try to set up a panel on Sunday afternoon on the normal time, 3 p.m. Central Time, Minnesota time. And then it's going to be open forum. Discuss all the stuff that's going down in boxing, all the other stuff and what we can do to try to improve the sport. So that's the plan. That's the plan in for the rest of the week. So thank y'all for tuning in to another edition of MehariNation Sports /radio. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to the entire Lions Den boxing and basketball community. And we out. Have a good night, everybody.